Yeah.
How's it been?
It's been, great. Yeah, things have been kind of crazy. So basically we hit like our 5-year anniversary in the middle of this COVID everything. Yeah. So at the beginning of this year, we had all of these different like plans to celebrate like 5 years, because that's like a huge accomplishment in the restaurant, like, or as a small business in the industry. And then this year, after everything happened, like we literally didn't do anything. We just like posted maybe a picture. And we're like, we made it to 5 years. Stay safe, everyone. Social
media is big, right?
Yeah, yes.
Is that your main area of advertising and focus?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably the easiest and the cheapest. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of what people care about the most now, to be completely honest. Like, I think about myself and how much time personally I spend on social media, and I'm like, why wouldn't you like gear towards people who are like that just like scroll and whatever. So yeah, our demographic is more Facebook than it is Instagram, so we do a lot of stuff on Facebook. Yeah.
Township 5 not everybody's succeeded. So to say you've been there for 5 years, and because we worked with you in the beginning and moved you guys in and designed it. Not everybody's able to do that. Why do you guys think that you were able to kind of beat that?
Because we're awesome. No, I just think, honestly, because my mom. So when we originally opened, it was my dad's company, and my mom and I, came up with the business plan and basically just ran the business, owned, operated, everything like that. We were board members on the company. And then last year I bought the business from my dad. So my mom and I kind of split the ownership duties, I guess. And she's just amazing. She with the finances and everything. So she like planned for us to not do great for the first like year and a half, which like saved us. I don't know if we would have survived if we didn't have that fund. I guess.
And that I've been saying it over and over. So that old adage, because we work for Dick, and Dick started this company 50 years ago, and every penny goes back into the business and save for that rainy day, or you never know. He was born during the Depression, so you never know.
Exactly.
And thank God he did that, because we've been able to survive this and in some areas grow a little bit, shrink a little bit, but we're moving forward. We're not looking back.
Right.
And that sounds like what your mom did, the same thing.
The same thing, and that she still does, because now we're okay for the pandemic and the closures and stuff. So it's just kind of crazy to think that after 5 years you would have to start from again and make sure that you have that fund so that you're gonna survive another like dip when we were on the rise, I guess.
You see those people take money out. Like, we know a lot of restaurants go out of business, like you said. That's hard to do. And you see them taking money, and I just sit there and say, leave it in there. Like,
I know.
Take a salary, but leave it in there just in case.
Yeah.
Or when you want to do something, you have the money, you don't have to finance, or you can do what you want to do. Like, I know we were working on expansion.
I know.
It didn't turn out, but I mean, there's other avenues, I know. And once I feel like we're going to be drinking out of the fire hose come April, May, June, when we start to get back to normal. People are just going to be like, okay, enough.
I know. And I think once people, because it's all about perception right now, and people just don't feel safe right now, so they're not coming out. Where in a couple months, when the vaccine starts to get out and everything, people are going to feel safe and be safe. And so I think about myself, and I have like 1 million people that I haven't seen that I want to visit with and that I miss, but you have your close little bubble and that's it. Yeah. And so I'm like, once this is over with, I have 1 million plans. Yeah. So I feel like restaurants and everything is going to be busy again.
You pivoted pretty quickly too. I mean, the igloos, I call them the igloos. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the correct term, but I mean, you got great exposure from that. Are they still up or no?
No.
You had to take them down. Will they crack? Is that what they get cold and crack?
No. So they're meant to be outside. To be honest, we did them for like a month. And they were really successful. But the area that we're in, like, it was kind of just like in a parking lot. So we kind of put a lot of effort into making it feel like cute and homey, and so that people didn't feel like they were sitting in a parking lot. Right. But the wind there is really bad, and it's like around the corner from the entrance, so it was kind of like a distance away. Yeah. So I think either right before Thanksgiving or right after, we just pulled them down. And my staff loved them because they were really successful and they like helped the business a lot. But I think about after that, like 4 or 5 weeks of them having to run out and unzip and zip and sanitize and everything, they were pretty happy that they came down.
Yeah. Who does all your menu development and your strategies for? Is that you and your mom sitting down and saying, okay, I think this will work, or is that kind of you know?
So it's kind of both. So we have like brainstorming sessions, I guess I would say, like, or we'll see an idea and we like I'm crazy, so I like stalk like restaurants from all over the country, and I like look and I do research. I'm always looking for something new. And then so I'll send her stuff, or I'll be like, okay, listen, like I really have this idea, like let's sit down. And so we kind of bounce it off of each other, and then I sit down myself because I have to like think things through and come up with like a strategy, and then we go over it together. And I'm like, okay, this is all, because I do like the small details and like the logistics of how it will actually work, and like what we'll do. Like the bubbles, we had like little trays inside them so that there was like napkins and straws and salt and pepper and all of that out there. So like that's where my brain goes when she's like, we sit and talk about the bubbles and how they would be successful. I'm like, okay, well this is how it operates. And then, we kind of just go from there.
It's interesting to see how, because we've done, I think this is our 15th or 16th, how different restaurants and different operations do that planning. And there really is no science to it. It's just kind of like you said, searching this, looking at this, seeing what works for somebody else. I know we work with Original Grain, and when we first started working with him and he had this concept, he showed me pictures like from California and all this, and he goes, this is kind of the vibe. This is kind of the, so it sounds very similar to what you're thinking of doing. Yeah. Do you see what's the next trend? Because we know in our business, in equipment and supplies, online is becoming more like the order guides and the things that we're working on is people they don't want as much come in, but they still want to shop local. I always talk about this. We were talking earlier to Anthony, eat local and more people going to local restaurants. It's the same thing for us because we supply all those local restaurants. How do we make it easier? How do we make it, and I think other suppliers are doing that too. Is that something you're seeing like digitally, with not Grubhub, but maybe trying to create something of your own? Or?
So we offer online ordering right now for people to pick up. And the trend around here kind of has been family packages, I guess, and like that online, the pickup and the takeout and stuff like that. But I'm still searching for something that's like ours, I guess, at the Brasserie. I don't like the family packs, everybody's doing them, and that's just not what our menu is right now. So, like, you can't, like, we have sandwiches and stuff. So, like, that's not a family pack thing. We did really well with alcohol to go, so I'm hoping that they'll extend that. We sold like over 200 mini cocktails to go one weekend. So
I see that trend. I see them changing that because I even if we get out of it, and we will, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think some people have enjoyed this. Like, you know what I mean? Going and picking up your meal in a growler or whatever, or a craft, and just going home and just.
I don't understand why they wouldn't just extend it forever. I mean, you can fill a growler, you can buy a bottle of wine. You can take a bottle of wine to go as long as it's sealed in a bag after you drink like half of it. But I don't understand why you wouldn't allow mixed cocktails to go. Like, obviously, I'm not going to put a straw in it and be like, drink it, like sip it on the way home. Like, no. But to be able to we did these cute like margarita. It was like a glass tequila bottle, and we put different margaritas in them and sold them. So kind of that's what I've been focusing on right now. It's hard to like long-term strategize for the business just because I don't know, and not to get political at all, but the election, the change is coming up. So like we kind of don't even know what that's going to bring at this point, if it's going to bring another shutdown or if it's going to open back up. It's kind of like a toss-up right now. So
it's kind of like a week to week. Like we meet weekly, and we're like, we know January, February are going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
What do we do? Well, we same thing. We don't know until and we're going to have to pivot like we did before. But
right. Yeah. So it's the same for us. Like these past couple days, we were closed on Tuesdays for months. We've been closed on Tuesdays. We opened this past Tuesday and we announced it literally Tuesday morning, and it was busy all day. So obviously we weren't staffed for it. So I'm like texting people, can you come in during this week, and trying to like fix the schedule. So when I'm dealing with like the day-to-day things, it's hard to kind of be like, okay, well, where's the brasserie going? Right. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're getting through the day, you're getting through the week, you're getting through the month. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And those slow times, when we get slow times, you're supposed to plan.
Yeah.
You just, labor shortages and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a struggle. But what has made you guys successful? Because it's not, you saw, we've seen it in the paper, we've heard it on the news. Your restaurant after restaurant after restaurant, and we know it's a tough business. We know that 95% of they don't make it past the first year, or 90%, whatever it is. What do you think was your biggest, besides you and your mother? What was the biggest secret to your success?
I don't know. Luck. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like kind of our staff. Our staff has been. We have a really, really good staff, and restaurant industry, the turnover is high. So we've had some changes and stuff like that, but I think the environment that we've cultivated with like our key players and extends out to our whole staff. And it's just like a customer called me over a couple weeks ago, which is you always get like a little bit nervous. I'm like, oh boy. So, and he was kind of just like, your whole staff just seems happy. Like everybody seems really happy. We've been here 3 Fridays in a row, and every single person that we've had a different person. They've been happy. And I feel like I really truly believe that happy employees equal happy customers. So I feel like putting that extra effort in to maintaining a positive environment really does help and really makes it, better. I'm totally not perfect, and I've grown so much within the 5 years as a leader, but I do think it's always on the back of my mind and the back of my mom's mind is how our decisions play out for our employees, and, what we can do to boost morale when it's, when it was the beginning of COVID. Those shutdowns came in, and we, reach out to the staff to make sure that they're okay. We did challenges while we were closed, like if you can draw something blindfolded, like whatever, you win a gift card or something like that, just to try and keep the staff engaged and making them feel like it's their own. And when they feel like it's their own, it shines through to their work, and customers really embrace that. So I kind of feel like our staff, like you can't do it by yourself, so you have to have a good staff, and they've been really great.
Do you read the Sunday paper there with in the business section where they interview a CEO or a CFO or somebody, and they always ask that, and that's one of the questions, and you read it, and 9 times out of 10 they'll say it's the people. I always say, if you don't love what you do, find something else, because everybody wants to be happy, you know what I mean? So, and you're right, turnover's tough in the restaurant industry. Have you found it's harder to get people now?
Yeah. So we are a little bit shorthanded in the kitchen right now, and it's been hard to hire, but I think that people are kind of waiting to see what the unemployment situation is going to be.
And I think, to our listeners, I think that they need to understand, like, unemployment, and say it's whatever, $400, and then now they're going to get a $300. When it was $600, I think in the food service industry, these people were like, "This is a lot of money."
I know.
Like, I'm just going to stay home. Yeah. One, I don't feel safe. 2, it's a lot of money. And you can't blame them. But yet, it's kind of that effect. Like, what do you do? Like, we need employees. $300 is still pretty, a large incentive. So it really does affect the food service industry more than I would say any other industry, because that dollar volume is really what drives.
I think so. And especially for tipped employees, like when they announced the $600, we shut down for 3 months, because I'm like, I can't ask people to come in and forego that money when we don't know what it's going to be like in here. Like, first of all, for takeouts, tips are way lower. And then second of all, with the dine-in and it's only 4 people, for us, we're in the yellow zone, you know, the tip varies so much and that's what they depend on. It's hard to justify taking that money away from people. But it's also, the business has to survive. Like, you can't just shut down everything and I don't know.
Because you just have to pay your mortgage.
We didn't.
It doesn't go like when I see this eviction thing, and I'm like, what do these people do that own these buildings? That have mortgages. They have to, like, we've made every payment. We had no choice. So have
Same.
you. So have you. So while I agree with the premise, what happens to these people when they just say, okay, I'm out, I'm gone, see you later?
Yeah, and I'm
what's
like,
gonna happen?
And I'm like, they're gonna, like, it's not like it's a forgiveness. It's just a deferment, so they have to pay it back anyway. So I'm like, after like a year or 18 months, where are they going to get that money? Because they've been out of work.
We had the saying, if you guys don't have it now, you're not going to have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's sad, but it's so true. And it's hard for us because we want to help as many people as we can.
Right.
We want to work with as many people as we can, but we just can't.
There's like only a limit on how much you can do for people.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for, as these places close or shut down, for other new establishments, or, like, will the good expand, or will they hold on to what they have and figure it out later, and then will new opportunities arise? Do you guys see yourself looking at new opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of just at a, like, maintain, but growing the business still has always been our overall goal. So, like, we were, I think it was like 2 weeks before shutdown or whatever, I was here, like, planning the expansion. So that's not over with. That's just, like, kind of on the back burner right now. So I definitely think, if you can get through this, you can kind of, get through anything. Not really, but I think that it's going to shape the restaurant industry into something different but better in a way. Kind of like open more opportunities, where I feel like before, like, eating at home was pizza and Chinese food and groceries, where now it's not. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunities. But
I was listening to Kitty Hoyne's podcast, and he was saying it was like they've had to pivot, and they're in the orange zone, and he was saying about the fish and chips. Now he goes, run home and eat this, because it's not gonna, it's just not going to be.
I know.
But there's some of that. There's some technology, and I had Tully's takeout a couple weeks ago, and I had fish, and I was like, wow, like, I was very surprised, because I don't have one very close to me, so it was a 10-minute drive, and it was pretty good, and I was like, okay. So I think that's where I see packaging and this menu, and Compass Group is a big, like, Aramark and Sodexo Compass. They just bought a technology company because they want to go to this. They see that as the next. Everybody wants to just sit on their phone, like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, where you just place your order, you walk in, take it.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me, because I drink coffee all the time, but I just downloaded the Dunkin' Donuts app where you can just, like, order it, and then you'd walk in. You don't have to talk to, like, do anything. And I'm like, this is the easiest thing ever. Like, I wish it was like that for us, but there's way more that goes into it. Like, Dunkin' Donuts is a huge company. For us, we've worked through it to make it as, from when we originally shut down till now, the way that we've done takeout has improved greatly. But there's still those hurdles for being a small business.
I get frustrated, like, if I go to Starbucks. Like, I like to go in and say hello. And and I wait, and like 5 people come in and out, and they're like, I think they're trying to force you to do. Yeah. But I want to see my coffee being poured, and I don't know what it is, but
See, I don't before I get my coffee, I don't want anybody to talk to me. So I'm like, please don't talk to me. But
so you guys picked Camillus. Why? What was so interesting about Township 5? Was it just the opportunity?
Yeah.
The location?
Yeah. So I went to school for business, my undergrad. And when I graduated, Township 5 was being built. And my mom was at Tuscarora Golf Course. She ran the bar and restaurant there for 8 years. And I worked for her, but we were never, like, business partners or anything. And I was kind of exploring like other opportunities because I had just graduated college, and I like had this idea in my brain that I was going to like go to a big city and like work my way up the corporate ladder is what I saw myself doing. But then Township 5 was being built, and she was like, hey, should we like call and get some information about it? Because we live in, she lives in Camillus, and I had lived there too, growing up there. And then we called them and talked to them and put together a business plan, and they were like, yeah, you can have a space if you want it. And then so we kind of went back and forth, and I was young. I was 22 years old, and kind of just were like, yeah, let's do it. So I signed a lease for a 10-year restaurant when I was 22 years old. It was crazy. But yeah, Camillus has been really good. I feel like it was a good start. Like I said, I've learned so much from then till now in the 5 years you do just automatically. But Camillus felt like home. Like we knew people there. I knew the area. I had served a lot of people at the golf course, so I kind of like knew the demographics and the clientele and like what their expectations were. So I think that just felt like a really comfortable starting location for us. And Township 5 was up and coming, and there was a lot of buzz, and they had a lot of chains there to start with, and it was nice to be one of the local places.
And it's weird, the local ones are doing the best.
Yeah.
I was over at Toss the Fire. And, and I hadn't been in. We worked with him, and he needed something, so I went over, and I'm thinking, wow, this is like you two are like are doing it, and to
living
me,
the dream,
yeah. And that's the good that I think is coming out of this is people want to support local businesses, and that's something we've always driven home from day one. But it's been hard, you know what I mean? Because the chains, they do some things that are. Look, you have a big chain there. Was that Longhorn?
Red Robin, and then Buffalo Wild Wings is right in the same building as us.
Right.
It's just, every time I interview a new employee when they come in, I always ask if they've worked at a local place before or if they've only worked at corporate, because in my brain, like, yes, we both serve food, but it's kind of almost like two separate, like, subsets of the industry. Yeah. Like, I really just feel like you can't compete with a Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah. Like, we're right next door, but the things that they do, like, you can't compete with. Their consistency, their knowledge, everything that they have. So it is really nice to see that next to those places that there are to, like, us and all the other local businesses. There's local shops, a local gym, coffee shop, all those things that are kind of thriving in this huge center where you normally see all those big box and large restaurants. So it's kind of cool. It's great.
A growing area too, because it's a nice. Camillus has grown, and as it's gone out farther, and things come at Elbridge and everything kind of Do you think that the industry is going to change anymore, or do you think it's just going to hold on for 2021? Because God, I can't wait for 2020 to be done. Like, I know. Thank God this is the last day.
I know. Oh my God.
Do you see like everyone's just sitting there saying, "All right, we're just gonna hold on and see what happens. What brings us 2021?"
Yeah, I do. I think like you can't ever stop pivoting, I guess. So, but I feel like the MO, I guess, of restaurant operators right now, or at least myself and people that I've talked to, is kind of just to like see what happens. Yeah. Like, don't do anything crazy.
We're seeing like trends like the convenience stores, the pizza places, like those, the ones that are you always did take out, or you always were okay with the safety and the and you were, those are going to thrive. I think they're going to have a great January, February, March. I know one of the chains that we deal with, they were up 20% year over year sales. And they're like, we have we didn't do anything different.
Yeah.
We just know, people we've always done it that way. And we're working on a pizza place in Camillus right now. And I'm sitting there saying, wow, and he goes, they'll come. They will come. Mm-hmm. So those tried and true ones, but what is that? What does it look like on the horizon for these other, like you and other, how do they survive, or how do they grow, or how do they get a piece of that, because you can only have pizza or, you can't
for
do
sure.
You can't,
right.
but I can have a different sandwich every night.
Right. Exactly. I think it's just really important right now. And I feel like I'm younger and new to the restaurant industry within the greater Syracuse area, but I've come to know like a lot of other restaurant owners throughout this, and I feel like people are starting to work together, and like that's what's most important right now. So I feel like if local restaurants continue to push like supporting each other and eating local and stuff like that, to kind of break down those perceptions of only pizza at home and only Chinese food and, takeout, grocery stores, and that it will adjust to a norm for people to get our food to go. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like you're just fighting against people's instincts.
Yeah, but I see us in the right spot. Like, I look at my son. He's on the phone. He orders Chipotle or whatever, and he Grubhubs it, or he goes, Core Life, and They don't want to eat. They don't want to make it. They don't want to cook.
It doesn't matter. Like they'll pay literally $10 service charge just to.
For the convenience. And when I see their lunch, I'm like, how do you eat out every day? Like, But so I see that trend because you've got the baby boomers that don't want to cook anymore.
Right.
You've got this generation. What is it? I don't even know.
What am I? I think I'm a millennial. I think I'm a millennial.
To eat out more, and you like fun. What I mean, everybody likes to do right. So I see the industry just doing very well, other than this pandemic.
Yes.
But I see like everybody, we're in a good spot. It's just I love that notion that other local restaurants, everybody needs to support everybody because there's so many parts of this that are so important.
And you're really, I mean, the more restaurants that survive, the better it is for everybody. Like you want to create an environment and a community that has thriving businesses. That's what your goal is. So all of these other restaurants that are around me and near me and people that I know, like I want them to survive too. Because then like in Camillus, if Camillus has a bunch of really good thriving restaurants and local shops and places like that, like that's where people want to be. So they come and they live there and they shop there and they go out in Camillus and maybe they hit a couple places like Toss and Fire. Maybe they go get a really good pizza there and then they come have a really good cocktail at my place. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. We work together. So
I remember talking to Dick Zab and he would always say like, because he owns the Kirby's, and he would say, the more restaurants, the better, because
so
if that one's
better.
Full, they'll come to me, or if they want to come to me, and so more is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they do thrive.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest challenge you think going into 2021 for you? Is it labor, or is it just surviving the next 3 months, or is it?
Yeah. I think, and like just like the mental health of it all has been a really huge challenge, and I think that I knew that this winter was going to be really hard. The beginning was really hard for my staff, but now that additional winter stress or cooped up inside, and for people too, customers, I just think that being in the right mental space is going to be huge it's just going to be a huge hurdle for people to get over, because, working with a team that's so close, being able to lean on each other has been really, that's what happens when you work for a family restaurant and you work with your family. I have a ton of family members that it's just a family. And so, but when everybody's stressed, it's really hard to maintain. So with that, shortage on labor, sometimes when you're able to come together and knock it out of the park, if people are in a bad, if people are just grumpy, then it's going to be harder. So I think that, and if customers are grumpy and sad, and that's hard on the staff too.
It's a good point, because we were like, all right, March, April, May, and then you're like, oh, okay, June, July, August, September is pretty good, and then you're like, October, and then you just see, and that mental part, because like people ask me, oh, how was your holiday?
Yeah. That's what literally everybody said.
Yeah. And then tonight, you know what I mean? Tonight would be, I said to somebody the other day, I go out with a group of friends every New Year's Eve, and sit for 3 hours and talk, and just catch up and can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, my wife and I,
I know.
And my son's delivering pizzas tonight, so there's just the two of us, which is great, but it's different. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not. And we really, that's something that I think all of us need to think about, is how do we mentally prepare ourselves for rough, but come out of this. To me, it's like, you can see the end of they were even saying that, I listened to Dr. Fauci this morning, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. We're going to get through this.
And I do think, what's that stupid saying? It's like the darkest before whatever, that these couple months are going to be really hard, but you do see that light, and you do see that success, and you do see, you know, that kind of sigh of relief. So for the next couple months, I feel like it's going to be really important for people to focus mentally on like their self-care, and the work environment for us for these next couple of months is going to be a huge focus, that we're going to make sure that, you know, our staff, holidays are stressful, money is stressful during the holidays, you're cut to 50%, and now we're going to go into even a slower time, that it's going to be such a huge focus to make sure that everybody is feeling healthy, and, you know, if they're frustrated with anything, that they're talking it out with us, so that we can maintain that happy environment that we try to cultivate, so that when we get through these next couple of months, and we're literally killing it, because I just picture us this summer like hopefully just crowds. Like in my brain, I see like crowds coming in, and the bar is full, and everybody's thriving. To get to that point, we have to stay strong, and we can only do that together. And I say that to my staff all the time. So I'm like, if it's stressful and people bicker a little bit, I'm like, guys, we are a team. Like, let's get through it together. And so just continuing to like focus on that, I think, is what's going to be hopefully our saving grace, I guess.
I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
And to all our listeners, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Have a happy and safe New Year, and we wish 2021 is the best year for all of us. So thank you again, Michele.
Yeah, thank you.